Hello, my name is Nyakalo Lepoto. I am a tutor at Chisavana Community Center. We specialize in contact and online classes, particularly with Sesotho, English, and mathematics. Here are my contact details here if you would like to get in touch with me and get help from our center. I'll just highlight basically, here's my name. Just highlight my name there. Nakalo Lepoto. My phone number 078 383 3396, and the email address the nyakalo.lepoto@gmail.com. So it's basically my first name dot my surname at gmail.com. We have classes Mondays to Fridays for school kids, grade 1 up until grade 11. Particularly, we help with reading. We do know that the literacy rate in South Africa is very low at this particular juncture. So we help kids learn how to read, and also with other subjects as well, but particularly to learn how to read and learn how to count so they can do better at school. University students, if you're doing B.Eds, we specialize with that foundation, intermediate, senior, and FET. Not a problem. We have classes between 10:30 in the morning and midday, Mondays to Fridays. For weekend classes, we can make arrangements for that. Today, I actually want us to do just to learn about the 6 most important questions with regard to answering a comprehension passage. I know this happens a lot with people. In English, it's always there. You are always doing comprehension in English, and people struggle to answer the questions. I feel like people are just always clueless in terms of what to look for, where to look for, how to answer questions, how to approach everything, basically. But this is how we are going to go about it. The first thing would be the what. You need to know what is happening in the story. Even before you read the story, you need to know what is happening in the story, sort of a summary of what is entailed in the story. The answer will be in the title. I'm just going to show you a title here. I'm just going to show you a story here. Young swimmer saves schoolboy. Young swimmer saves schoolboy. As you can see, the title itself is already giving you an indication as to what the story is about. I just want to highlight this. Young swimmer saves a schoolboy. It's an indication of what happens in this particular story. Without even reading, we now have an idea of what happens. So you should never neglect the title of your story. And the second thing that we would like us to look for is where it's happening, the setting of the story, where this whole story is taking place. It might be names of places. I've also included this with a sort of translation, just to benefit people, because we do know that people struggle with language and all of that. Let me read the story for you just to see particularly where this story is taking place. I'll read the story a few times just for us to get the different questions that we are looking for. But at this particular juncture, we are looking for the setting where it's taking place. But I'll just read the whole story. Bongi Shabalala, a 12-year-old grade 5 pupil, saved a schoolboy who was drowning in a dam. So that is a place. A dam is a place, right? But it's also more important to know which dam particularly, specifically rather. 8-year-old Michael Naidu was swimming in the Rough Dam. So now we have the name of that specific dam where this whole story took place. Near the school on Friday. The school is also a place, right? So in this case, it doesn't necessarily say Velgehevel primary school or Velgehevel large school, Velgehevel, or whatever the case may be. You know, Tutotiro primary school, Trazache, or whatever, right? But we now know it's happening at the school, between the school and the dam, right? It's the rough dam near the school on Friday afternoon. According to reports, a grade 3 boy was trying to dive from a tree but hit his head on a branch before falling into the water. Bongi, who was on her way from school, saw the boy floating in the dam. She immediately dived in to save him. Bongi brought the boy to land and performed first aid on him. The Red Cross said that if someone stops breathing, you must act immediately. Luckily, Bongi's friend, Anne Brown, was passing the place of the accident. She went to the place where Bongi was helping the boy. She called the school principal, who phoned the rescue services. Bongi will receive a reward for her bravery for saving Michael Naidu's life. The principal, Mr. Nakanya, warned all the school children not to go to the dam on their own. That is the story. Basically, this is how stories work out. This one is just straightforward like that. Yours might be a bit longer, but the long and the short of it would be in this particular format. Now, let us move on to the next question. So the next question in this story would be question 3. When? I've also included Sesotho translation there for people that might benefit from it. I wish I could do English comprehension in Sesotho. Dilema matsatsi nako and dibeke. These are the dates, the times, the years, the months, and the days. We're going to go back to our comprehension passage and see exactly where these appear. Right? I like it in this view. So let us look at the dates. The first date that we see here is the date on which the story was written by Elizabeth Smith. We'll come to Smith, but basically this first line here just shows us when the story was written, but we have a date here as well. Saturday, 8 September 2015, that's the first date. Now, without necessarily looking at the whole story, we have here the time at which the incident happened, Friday afternoon. So that's the date that you have in this particular story. Let us move on to the next question without much further ado. We have read the story. You can always rewind to that. How things happen. So now the story says, let's move on to the way. I just want to highlight the third question that says how things happen. Tsela eo dintho di etsahalang ka yona, mokgwa wa ntho tse di etsahalang ka yona. Now let us move to the story again. I prefer this view. It says, now we know the story is young swimmer saves schoolboy. What we want to know is how does she do it? Let's move on to how she does it. Or let us start where this schoolboy drowned. How did he drown? 8-year-old Michael Naidu was swimming in the rough river near schoolboy on Friday afternoon. According to reports, the grade 3 boy was trying to dive from a tree but hit his head on a branch before falling into the water. So this is how this boy actually drowned. According to reports, the grade 3 boy was trying to dive from a tree but hit his head. We are presuming he got unconscious, he fell unconscious, and then he fell into the water and now he couldn't swim out anymore. Now we would like to know, how did Bongi save her life? Bongi, who was on her way home from school, saw the boy floating on the dam. This is what she did. She immediately dived to save him. Bongi brought the boy to land and performed first aid on him. So that's the how part of it. Done and dusted. Let us move on to the next question. So the next question at this particular juncture, maybe this is a better view, would be who. You just need to know the names of the people, the names of the characters in your story. Let's move on to the names of the characters in our story. Remember, we also have somebody who wrote the story. Let us start there, because that usually comes up as a question as to who wrote this story. We now have Elizabeth Smith, because it looks like it is a newspaper article. So we have a byline here. The story was written by this lady on this date. But another name that we have here is our protagonist here, our MacGyver, who is Bongi Shabalala. We have Michael Naidu. You not only have to know the names of the characters, but you need to know their relationships in the story. So now Michael, he's 80-year-old Michael Naidu was swimming in the rough dam near the school on Friday afternoon. We'll get to the Friday afternoon. In fact, we have gone past that. The date, we have Bongi here again. But we have another character here by the name of Anne Brown, who was Bongi's friend. Not only do you need to know their names, but you need to know their relationships with one another. Anne Brown is Bongi's friend. It's a very a great friendship that they do have there, because they work together to save this person's life. Because Anne went and called the principal, who is our next character, Mr. Makaya, the school principal, Mr. Makaya. Sometimes they will just say the school principal without mentioning the name. That's also a name of a person represented there. So it is a character as well. Those are the names that are in this particular story. I prefer this view, quite frankly, but it's all good to move from one to another. Let's move on to the last question, the why part of it. When things change, you must know why, right? Mabaga. How it's on if it to hang, they will ask you definitely why that happened. So now let us see in the story itself. Let's do this first. The sixth question is this one. Why? When things change, you must know why. That brought about a change. Now, if you go back to the story, you will see a few things changing. Say, for instance, let's go on this particular view. We're going back to the story. Now, they say Bongi will receive a reward for bravery. So the question would ask, why will Bongi receive a reward for bravery? So your answer there will be for saving Michael Naidu's life. Okay? Another question that might arise can be the school principal, Mr. Makaya. Let's just highlight this last part here. The school principal, Mr. Makaya, warned all school children not to go to the dam on their own. So you could be asked, why did the school principal say that? Now you have to think for yourself. Because you might drown. What if you are not the greatest of swimmers and you find yourself in a situation that Michael Naidu found himself? If Bongi went there, in most likelihood, Michael Naidu would have died. So it's very dangerous for you to go to the dam on your own. So those are the 6 most important questions that you must know when you are answering a comprehension passage. My name is Nyaka Lolepoto. As I said, I am a tutor here at Tisabana Community Center. You can get in touch with me if you would like to be assisted with your school, or maybe for your child as well. For school kids, we help Mondays to Fridays between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. And for university students, particularly B.Ed university students, be it foundation, intermediate, senior, or FET, between 10:30 and 12 midday, Monday to Friday. With that, let's meet again on our next video. Adios.